All right, everyone. In this lesson, we will be covering multiplying integers. That is lesson number 5 in Booklet 10. Now, if you've been keeping up with my previous videos, then this should be a little bit easier because we've already talked about the rules of multiplying and how the signs interact with each other, right? We discussed how when multiplying, a positive and a positive number will give you a positive answer. A negative and a negative number will also give you a positive number. How a positive and a negative will multiply and give you a negative answer. And how a negative and a positive will multiply and give you a negative answer. In other words, remember the slot machine. When the symbols are the same, it's good, it's positive. When the symbols are different, it's bad, it's negative. So let's actually start by filling in the middle of this note. That says, when multiplying integers with the same sign, we have a positive product. Now, when I say the word product, what I mean is the answer after multiplying, right? We have very specific words. When I use the word sum, I mean the answer after adding. When I use the word difference, I mean the answer after subtracting. When I use the word product, I mean the answer after you multiply two numbers. So when multiplying integers with the same sign, we have a positive product. And when I multiply integers with a different sign, we're going to have a negative product, right? So that means that if I was to multiply 3 and 2, this is a two-step process. Step 1, I know that 3 times 2 is equal to 6. Step 2, I have two positive numbers, and two positives make a positive. Good. Next, let's multiply -5 and -2. By the way, this symbol right here, this dot, means multiplication, right? We may not have used it before, right? Usually we use X, but I want to start moving away from X, right? Especially once we get into algebra, we're going to start using X as what we call a variable. So I want to stop using it as multiplication. So we're going to start using that dot to represent multiplication. But if you want, you can just write two brackets next to each other like that, and it also implies multiplication. So -5 and -2, the first thing that we're going to do is just multiply the numbers. 5 times 2 makes 10. And then after, let's consider whether that 10 is positive or negative. Now, -5 is negative, and -2 is negative. And when I multiply two negative numbers, I get a positive answer, right? Because they're the same. Bless me, because they're the same sign. Finally, we have a -4 and a +3. Now, 4 times 3 is going to give me 12. 4, 8, 12. But one is negative and one is positive, right? So since those are different, my answer is going to be negative. Good. So that's the basics of the lesson. Try these 4 examples on your own and make sure that your answer matches mine. Now, +1 times -9. First of all, 1 times 9 is just 9. Now, since they're different signs, one is a positive and one is a negative, my product is going to be negative, right? Remember that those different signs mean it's a negative answer. Now, in question B, we have 6 times 3, rather -6 times -3, but the 6 and 3 themselves are going to make 18, right? 6, 12, 18. Now, these are the same sign. They're both negative. And since they're the same sign, the product is going to be positive. So negative 6 times negative 3 is positive 18. Now, next we have 2 times 7, rather negative 2 times positive 7, but we're going to start with the 2 and the 7, right? 2 times 7 is 14, 7, 14. Now, one negative, one positive, since those are different, the answer is going to be negative. Finally, we have 4 times 5, right? Both of them are positive. Now, 4 times 5 is 20, 5, 10, 15, 20. And since those are both positive, the same, our answer is also going to be positive. So 4 times 5 is 20, and we're done. Okay? That's it for today's lesson, so make sure that you spend some time with the homework. And as usual, if you have any questions, please let me know.